Hi, I'm Mark, and this is a series of videos for people who have apeirophobia that is aimed at giving them or you the skills and attitudes that you need to heal from it. I had apeirophobia starting when I was about 8 until my mid-20s, maybe, let's say 28. So let's say I had it for 20 years, and I'm pushing 60 now, and so it was a long time ago, but I got over it, and you can too. And so I'm using what I have learned in my life to try to help you get over it as fast as you can. So I recently made a video about grounding and orienting, and you can click to it right here if you like. And just to give you a brief recap, grounding means feeling gravity. That means becoming rooted to just where you are here and now. Really kind of coming in, feeling gravity, and just being right here. Orienting means looking and listening, which means you are connecting to the place that you're in. So you're just not alone, kind of like disconnected from everything. You're wherever you are, you're in a place, and you always have been, and you always will be. And you can connect to that. And that's your reality. We may have ideas about some other reality, but at least we can say this is our reality right here. So you can connect to it. So you can ground yourself by feeling gravity, feeling your support, and then orient yourself by looking and listening. And what I want to talk about in this video, among other things, is that looking and listening, you may have to give yourself permission to do it, because your mind will be wanting to go off into the future or be thinking about something. It may not want to come back here and look and listen. So this is something to think about. Is it okay for me to come back here and now and look and listen and to ground myself? Can I give myself permission to do that? It may sound easy, but this is actually harder than we might think sometimes, especially for some people, because we're so used to not being here and now, not looking and listening, in the place we're at, but instead we're focused on something else. We're like people who are driving home from work and they're not noticing anything about what's going on around them, and then they get home and they're pulling to their driver and they're like, wow, how did I get here? I don't remember anything about that the last 20 minutes. What happened? They could have been driving by somebody with a sign that says $3 million, pull over here. And it would be real. Like they would not, they could have become a millionaire in a moment, but they didn't see that because they're so focused on whatever has been going on in their head the whole, while they're driving. They're on autopilot. So whenever we come back here and now, we're taking the autopilot off. And we have to be willing to do that to come back here and now. So the reason, again, that we want to learn these skills is because this is really part of the pathway out of apeirophobia. Because apeirophobia, and this is something that maybe the next time if it's coming on for you, you can just notice. You can notice this. And I'll just speak about myself, but it may be like this for you too. I remember 35 years ago, 40 years ago or so, when I was having these attacks, and even, this is not entirely true, like even 20 years ago, sometimes I could kind of feel, I couldn't have an attack, but I could feel these feelings, coming up, the same thing. It's like there's like a rising feeling happening, like the thought occurs. You may feel something in the belly or in the stomach, And then it's like this kind of rising energy and fear, terror starting to happen. So it's this upward moving energy that's happening in your body. And it's so strong that we just kind of go with it and we have an attack. Because of that strong energy, it might be difficult for you initially to just become grounded and to look and listen. Naturally, of course, because this is happening. But the more you practice these skills, the more you create a pathway in your brain that knows about grounding and orienting, knows how to do it, and it becomes more and more accessible to move out of this upward moving kind of panic, like switching tracks over to the grounding, being here and now track. The skills have to be built up. You have to practice them. Now, there's a little clue in what we're actually dealing with when we're dealing with apeirophobia in the experience itself. And I want to point something out to you that you might look for if and when you have another apeirophobic attack. One thing, as I've said, is that the energies, there's this kind of like upward moving thing. And if you need to get up, stand up, fine, do it. Like that's great. That's following through with your part of your fight-flight program to get you out of the pain of this is an important thing to do. You don't have to stuff that down. So you can just go ahead and stand up or do what you need to do if you're initially being kind of triggered by the attack. But once that initial trigger, once that's passed and you feel like you're able to kind of come back here, notice, and even during that attack, notice that it's as if your vision becomes constrained because you're kind of thinking about the far future and you're feeling yourself trapped in this, somehow in this experience. And it just gets you, the vision becomes focused in the same way that if you're driving home from work and you don't notice anything, you're not really there seeing anything. You're kind of just in this dreamscape, in this kind of, it's like dull light. It's like hazy light. It's like imagination, really. If you just imagine a flower right now, it's not as vivid as a real flower if you to put one in front of your face. So it's a bit dim. So notice this, it's powerful feelings, but the image, what's happening is it's a narrowing and a kind of a not so clear what it is. Infinity, what's that? It's not so clear. It's just a kind of premonition almost. So as you start to come back here and now, if you give yourself permission to do that, what happens? If you look and listen. Notice how bright it actually is. How real. It's not imagined. It's very vivid. The experience of here and now it's very vivid. It's not like a dream. It's not like a premonition or like something in the far future that may or may not come. It's very here, very now, Sometimes it can almost feel too bright, too real. It's just, here it is. Here I am, But you're not alone here. Like this is like there's you and there's your whole world with you. So what I've talked about here is learning the skills of coming back and grounding yourself, your feelings. You can grounding yourself in gravity, feeling gravity. And then not just you, not just your own kind of, you're the tree here, but you have a whole forest and a whole field around you. So opening out, looking and hearing, listening. Listening's better. You're not only hearing things, but you're really actively like listening. That puts you in your place, your actual place where you are, really. Feeling yourself, seeing, looking, listening, hearing. And then I just did a deeper breath here. This is another very important point. It's really important to learn to take full diaphragmatic breaths here, because that will calm our nervous system. So all these skills, learning them, giving yourself permission to use them, and practicing them. These things are important. This bright reality, this one right here, is more real, and you will find much more interesting, stable in a certain sense, promising, good, hopeful, cool, fascinating, safe, true than the apeirophobic attack. And that's where you're headed. You're on a path to become more interested in this, what's happening here, really deeply, than what your mind is doing when it's having a freak out. And you're giving yourself permission to start checking this out and taking this more seriously than this. Because once we have full-blown apeirophobia, we start to take this attack more seriously than we take this bright, vivid, real world where all the beings are and all the beauty is and all the truth is and all the goodness is, which is terrible and very painful, as we know. We know how painful it is. Okay. Hopefully that makes a little sense. If it doesn't, leave a question in the comments, and I'm going to say, please like this video, and if you like, subscribe, because if you do those things, then other people who have apeirophobia might find this video, and if it helps them, then you've helped them. So thank you.